Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of great millstone, taught us 100% truth, according to the spirits of be Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect out there, portion of this word to the four corners of the earth in truth and sincerity. Peace and blessing to you hopeful believers out there, which are also part of the elect. To y'all say shalom. And once again, I want to say call Lord Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Forgive me the Rachakwadash, the Holy Spirit, to do this lesson on today. Lord willing to feed you lamb and sheep of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. So we have a video through the power spirit of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I'm just lambacking. You got this beautiful video by the Elder Yashawamba here in Miss Dallas. Go subscribe to his channel, Remnant Save 144. Right? Subscribe and be edified. It says, news and prophecy. Can AI circumvent the scattering of Babel? History repeats itself. You see? And he was watching this video. He had pulled up this video by this individual known as Yoval Noah, Harari, this Edomite, this devil. But he had put up a video by him, and I noticed a particular thing he has said, which I have the video right here. I noticed a particular thing he has said, and what he said is, in a nutshell, it's a push for Esau to achieve Godhead on earth. You see, because what he's talking about is the aspect of how through AI and technology, they're able to go around the aspect of language. You see, and when you go into the Tower of Babel, as the elder beautifully went into, the Tower of Babel, the Lord scattered them through their language. He confounded the language, and everybody wasn't speaking Hebrew no more. And that was when they was all in allegiance to essentially build the Tower of Babel, and to essentially go around the authority of the Lord. You see, so I had put this in chat real quick because I wanted to see this. Because he makes a point. So as a matter of fact, I'm gonna watch it. We're gonna watch the video first, and then we're going to get in chat and pull some scriptures. Because what we see is this nigga Esau, as we've been saying through the past video, Yahweh Shai, him doing his push to get his artificial version of the birthright. That's what the point of this whole advancement in AI and talks of AI reaching singularity and things like that, right? So let me go back some and let me go to the transcript right quick. Let me see. Right? So it's right here. I'll go back a little bit and I'm going to mute myself and play it.
Hundreds of billions of dollars is because they think it will be an agent, not a tool. You listen to the narrative coming out of places like Silicon Valley, and there is an inherent contradiction in the narrative. They tell us, we will create a God, and it will be our slave. And this doesn't make sense. If it is a God, it cannot remain a slave. And if it is a slave, it means it has no godlike abilities. The assumption of most of the leading companies and most of the leading experts also outside the companies is that they are correct about the first half of the sentence. They are creating a God.
So, and he's talking about AI. So you see, because it's the next 50 years, humanity, AI power. So essentially, what Esau doing with this AI is, like he says, it's an agent. He's creating a God. Because they said he breaks down. The elder beautifully had another video. He breaks down the aspect. AI is not an agent. I mean, it's not a tool. It's an agent, which means that it's autonomous. Essentially, it makes its own decisions. And it observes and do particular things like that. So with this AI, right, they're dumping millions of dollars in particular things like that, because essentially Esau believes that this is going to push him to achieve that new world, to achieve the establishment of the beast system, which what is essentially the establishment of the beast system is essentially him achieving his artificial version of the birthright. That's what AI is going to allow him to be able to do. You see, he's going to be able to achieve his artificial version of the birthright, and he's going to be able to combat the Most High and his son. You see, because this individual, Nova, he always speaks about how the acts of how humanity has constantly doing these. They have certain feats where they're going to be able to combat if the Lord does this, the Lord does that. You see, so I wanted to pull this real quick in the chat, right? Because you got to remember, at the end of the day, which we could get it real quick. At the end of the day, man, Esau, he's making a push to get his birthright back, man. Because you got to remember, when you go to the book of Genesis, which you're going to pull, right? Genesis 25, the Lord had it to where Esau had sold Jacob his birthright. Now, when you fast forward to the book of Romans, chapter 9, it tells you how at the end of the day, the Lord had it predestined. That, before the sons was even born, before they did anything, the Lord already had it set up so Jacob was the firstborn. You see, and he was going to receive the blessing. He was going to receive the sovereignty over the earth for eternity. You see, that's how the Lord had it set up. And this also is a display of how the Lord supersedes the human things, because essentially when you do have your firstborn, they get the birthright. But in the spirit, Jacob was essentially the firstborn at the end of the day. But this is Genesis. This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 29. It says, "And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint." Because, Esau was a man of the field. He would hunt, and he was very, Isaac delighted in Esau a lot because of that. Esau will hunt, and he would do all those particular things that helped in that time, because it wasn't like how it is now, how everything's all microwave. Back then, you had to set the trap, search out the prey, and do all these particular things to even get meat and get vegetables and things like that, to where now it's microwave. But in that time, which the ancient time, which we're going back to that way, that's how it was. See, and Esau was really good at that. It says, "And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom," which Edom means red. "And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?" So Esau's being carnal. You see? Which he is a carnal man. This is not surprising that he was acting like that. He's carnal. He couldn't wait for dinner. So he was like, "Man, give me the birthright now. Give me the food now, man." And Jacob's like, "Give me the birthright." And essentially he was like, "Well, this birthright doesn't profit me right now." But now we at the point to where Esau is realizing, which Esau is seeing how he shouldn't have did that shit. Which at the end of the day, the Lord already had accepted that he was going to do it. At the end of the day, it wasn't even by his choice. This is just something that the Lord already had set up from the foundation of the earth. You read about that, Isaiah 46. The Lord declared the end from the beginning. So at the end of the day, the Lord already had this set up from the beginning. You see, this is not something that, it could have changed if Esau would have not sold his birthright. No, the Lord already had it set up. This is how it's going to be. But Esau is looking at the aspect of his birthright that he does receive from Isaac. He's realizing, like, man, initially he want the birthright that Jacob received, which we're going to get into that, but we're going to read it. It says, "And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright." You see? So he gave over his birthright to Jacob. Now, what I want to do is I want to get this in chat, because when you go into the Tower of Babel, because this is a technological Tower of Babel, as the editor goes into, because they're speaking about language, I asked chat to essentially was a different ask chat. I says, when the Tower of Babel was built, was it an aspect to outsmart the Most High, right? And it says yes. Many interpretations understand the Tower of Babel as an attempt by humanity to assert its own greatness over the Most High's will, but not necessarily as a realistic plan to outsmart or overpower him, right? And it goes to it in Genesis 11. Come, let us build our own cities in the tower with its top in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth. It said these statements reveal several motivations: self-exaltation. Let us make a name for ourselves, instead of seeking the Lord's glory, and sought their own fame and legacy. Defiance, command, and it says trust in human achievement, right? Now, when you jump down here, it says, so if by outsmart the Most High, you mean using human intelligence, technology, and unity to bypass the Most High, the power, authority, then yes, this is a common way in the story it is understood. If you mean they thought they could actually deceive, overpower, or outwit the Most High, biblical does not indicate that. But essentially, they did think that. They thought that they could bypass the authority of the Lord. And when you get into that word bypass, it means is you have no need for it, essentially. Because you even get that aspect in the scripture. The Lord said a woman shall compass a man. What does that mean? She could essentially bypass the authority of a man, go around the authority of the man, and do what she want to do, which puts her on the aspect to where she don't need a man, right? So Esau, this is what he's doing. You see, through his technology, his intelligence that he's received on the left hand side by the Lord, he's going to take a push to bypass and to go outside the authority of the Lord, which essentially, what's the authority of the Lord? The authority of the Lord, or what the Lord has, his will, is essentially that Esau will rule for a certain portion, and the kingdom will be given over to Jacob, and Jacob will rule for eternity. But what Esau's trying to do is he's trying to offset that. He's trying to go off script, right? And he's trying to make it to where he's has the birthright, he regains it, and he rules for eternity. And he eventually eradicates Jacob, and he rules for eternity. That's what Esau's trying to do. Which you see it through this technology, because we just watched the video of Yoval Noah, whatever the fuck the name is. What did he say? He said that they're not dumping billions of dollars because AI is a tool. They dumping billions of dollars into AI because they believe that AI, they're creating a God. You see? They're creating a God, and a God can't be a slave, then it's not a God. And it can't have God-like powers if it's a slave. So they're trying to create a God. You see? They're trying to create a God. Right? Now I'm reading it. It says, if you can bypass the Most High, are you in your sense saying you are a God yourself? So it says, yes, the idea is consistent with a major biblical theme. If someone believes they can completely bypass the authority of the Most High, that can determine good and evil, establish their own ultimate authority, or become accountable only to themselves, they are in effect placing themselves in the role that belongs to the Most High alone. You see? So so if you're trying to bypass the Lord, you're yourself saying that I am the Most High. And this is the nature of Esau. We read it all throughout the scriptures. That's why you can't tell us that this nigga is not Esau. The nigga that's in rulership, you can't tell us that this nigga is not Esau, man, because he checks all the boxes. And one of the major things that Esau would check off is trying to achieve Godhead on earth. You see, trying to bypass the Lord and achieve authority. You even read about that in the book of in the Maccabees during the time of the Greeks. You had Antiochus. He was trying to do that, make the people one world order with him in authority. They leave all their cultures, and they come into the culture of the Greeks, through the Hellenization. You see, so I'm gonna get to this. Is the Obadiah chapter 1, which is only one chapter. It says, Verse 3 says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? You see, Esau's pride has puffed him up to the point to where he believes that he could bypass the Lord's authority. He could go around. It don't matter what the Lord say. It don't matter what the scriptures say. You know, that you will rule for a certain amount of time, then eventually you'll be taken out of rulership. That the ones that it doesn't matter that you sold your birthright to Jacob, which initially the Lord already had it the Lord already had it in spirit that Jacob was gonna get the birthright, but that doesn't matter. That's what Esau's trying to say. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the will of the Lord is. I'm gonna do what I want to do, which essentially him thinking like that is him doing the will of the Lord, which is how cold the Lord shows who he is, man. And he's on another level. Esau's rebellion, right? His rebellion to the Lord, which he's acting in the same spirit of Nimrod, because Nimrod name means rebellion. His rebellion to the Lord is him indeed acting like he's supposed to act, because the Lord designed him and created him to be in rebellion. That's why when we get the book of Thessalonians, it says whose man it says the man comings is at the workings of Satan. It means he comes in a vibration of adversity, rebellion towards the Lord. So you keep reading. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest among the stars, this would I bring thee down, said the Lord. You see? So Esau, he's trying to set his nest among the stars, which he's doing that, they go into those satellites. But even in the aspect of the, like it says, he exalted himself as the eagle. So he believes himself to be the highest. He says, I am the most high. You see? He believes that I'm the most high. That's what he believes. Now, I want to get this other video, because that video, I just wanted to point that out because I thought that was very interesting. Like, he said AI is a god right now. And you have constant talks about singularity. AI has achieved singularity, which is essentially what it is. But also, I wanted to pull this video. I think it's a short. Yes, right here.
You would prefer...
Now, you have this individual known as Peter Thiel. Which Peter Thiel, he's the I think he's a co-founder of PayPal and the founder of Palantir, and he appointed Alex Karp or Harp, one of them, whatever. But this nigga Peter Thiel, this sodomite, which a lot of these motherfuckers be sodomites and they be demons, but it's Esau, so what you expect. But Peter Thiel, he's always made a strong push for transhumanism. Now I'm going to get the definition of transhumanism, but I'm going to play this clip, you see, and then we're going to get it.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would,
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit
Should
in this.
the human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also would I also would like us to radically solve these problems.
Right.
And so it's always, I don't know.
And even with that point, that it shows you the mindset of Esau. He doesn't necessarily care about humanity surviving. All he cares about is achieving what he wants to achieve at all costs. If 99% of the life is over and they've achieved Godhead through technology and they're fucking out of AIs, that's why when you read Matthew 24, it goes into how the Lord has shown the days for the elect's sake, because that's the type of mindset Esau has. He has a mindset that he doesn't care for civilization. He doesn't care if humanity survives the transition of this. He doesn't care. As long as he can achieve his birthright, he doesn't care. And even when that's like, man, come on. You can't tell us this nigga not the devil.
Transhumanism is this, the ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body. And there's a critique of, let's say, the trans people in a sexual context, or I don't know, a transvestite is someone who changes their clothes and cross dresses. And a transsexual is someone where you change your I don't know, penis into a vagina. And we can then debate how well those surgeries work. But we want more transformation than that. The critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's so pathetically little. And okay, we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body. And then Orthodox Christianity, by the way, the critique Orthodox Christianity has of this is these things don't go far enough. Like that transhumanism is just changing your body, but you also need to transform your soul and you need to transform your whole self. And so,
right. But the other, wait. I generally agree with what I think is your belief that religion should be a friend to science and ideas of scientific progress. I think any idea of divine providence has to encompass the fact that we have progressed and achieved and done things that would have been unimaginable to our ancestors. But it still also seems like, the promise of Christianity in the end is you get the perfected body and the perfected soul through God's grace. And the person who tries to do it on their own with a bunch of machines is likely to end up as a dystopian character.
Well, let's articulate this.
And you can have a heretical form of Christianity, that says something else.
I don't know. I think the word nature does not occur once in the Old Testament, and so if you and there is a word a sense in which the way I understand the Judeo-Christian inspiration is it is about transcending nature. It is about overcoming things. And, and the closest thing you can say to nature is that people are fallen, and that's the natural thing in a Christian sense, is that you're messed up. And that's true. But, there's some ways that, with God's help, you are supposed to transcend that and overcome that.
As you see, he had to work the deceit, with God's help, you could transcend nature. Which, that's not promised to him, though. He's not promised to receive immortality and to be able to be essentially a God upon earth. That was given unto the sons of Jacob. You see, so we're going to get where he received the birthright. Right? We're going to get where you see the birthright, and we're going to get that word transhumanism real quick. This is Genesis chapter 27. And I'm trying to see, because I want to really get to the point. Because, what happened was Isaac sent Esau out to get him some deer and make it very savory. And his mother, Isaac's wife, Rebecca, she was like, pretty much, the Lord had it to where she essentially had Jacob disguise himself as Esau. His voice sounded like Esau. He felt like Esau, and he got blessed. But I'm trying to get to that point. Okay, this right here says, and she gave the savory meat. This is Genesis 27:17. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared unto the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father, and he said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according to thy baddest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat my venison, that my soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord thy power brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son, Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and he said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat my son's venison, that my soul may be blessed. It's like that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore the power give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren. Let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an ending of the blessing, Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac, his father, that Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. So you see, he blessed Jacob and gave him everything, right? And it says, and he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father. And he said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac's father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, it is not he rightly named Jacob, which means supplant, Yaquab. For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And this is the wickedness of Esau. This nigga Esau tried to be like, he supplanted me twice. He took away my blessing. He never took away your birthright or your blessing. And we just read in Genesis 25, you sold your birthright and blessing because, like the scriptures say, you rejected, you despised it. You felt like it was no benefit unto you there at that moment, which essentially at the end of the day, which we'll read it real quick, man. We'll read it real quick here in the book of Romans. We'll read it real quick because at the end of the day, the Lord, it was upon election, right? Let me see where it's at. I think I'm too far down. Yeah, that's right. This is Romans chapter 9 and verse, we start at verse 10. It says that not only this, but when Rebekah, Isaac's wife, also had conceived by one, even by by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Lord, that the purpose of the Most High, Yahweh, according to election, might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger, and as is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So at the end of the day, it was according to election to show you the authority of Yahweh, how he supersedes the human nature. He's outside of it. He's not bound by it. We're bound by it, but he's not bound by it. And that's what happened. That's why in Genesis, you get Esau sold his birthright, but at the end of the day, the Lord, according to election, the Lord already had set up. I mean, before they was even born, what was said, that the elder shall serve the younger. You see? So the Lord already had to set up to where Esau wasn't going to receive the birthright. Now, where's it at? Bless me, supplanted me. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and with wine I have sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? But bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. He cried. And And Isaac his father, but I don't even know. But the thing is that why are you crying? You sold your birthright. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above, which we're living in that right now. And by thy sword shall thou live, and shall serve thy brother. And it's like by thy sword and by thy sword shall thou live, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau have hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father in hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. You see? So Esau, he's been since the beginning. Esau's been in a spirit of hatred towards Jake and trying to constantly receive his birthright, obtain his birthright back. So when you get that word transhumanism, right? Let's pull it real quick. This is the word transhumanism. It says transhumanism, which is what Peter Thiel was talking about. Now look how they're going to obtain transhumanism. It says transhumanism. Transhumanism is an intellectual and cultural movement that advocates for using science and technology to upgrade the human body and mind. It aims to overcome natural biological limits like aging, disease, and fatigue. So in other words, be able to gain immortality. You see, which that's one of the promises of the birthright. The birthright, if we're going to gain, we're going to have it for eternity. We're going to gain, and for us to have it for eternity, that means we have to be immortal to do that. But Esau's trying to do that. You see, so it says, and then on top of it too, is not just going to give humans immortality. It's just like Elon Musk said. He said the Neuralink will have you be able to do miracles like Yahushua, to where an individual is blind, he could not be blind no more, and he could actually obtain his vision back. But he could not just obtain his vision back, but supersede the regular 20/20 and have better vision than that. You see? So it says core goals: life extension, stop or reverse aging to help people live much longer or forever. And this is not to help people, it's to help Esau. Cognitive boost, make memory, focus, and learning speed sharper. Physical enhancement, build stronger muscles, better senses, and disease resistance. Post-human future, guide human evolution toward a new advanced state. Right? It says the main technologies that will help them do this essentially. Artificial intelligence, merging human thought with computer system. Genetic editing, changing DNA to remove flats or add traits. Nanotechnology, building tiny machines to fix cells inside the body. Cybernetics. You see, so like the dude, like going, like when you go to the video, right? We'll go back to it. Like, let's listen to what this dude Noah Yuval said.
The slave.
Right? When you go into what he said, Slakia, he mentioned that technology is a god. So if you merge with technology, right? Let's get it right here.
Narrative coming out of places like Silicon Valley, and there is an inherent contradiction in the narrative. They tell us we will create a god and it will be our slave. And this doesn't make sense. If it is a god, it cannot remain a slave. And if it is a slave, it means it has no godlike abilities. The assumption of most of the leading companies and most of the leading experts also outside the companies is that they are correct about the first half of the sentence. They are creating a god.
You see, so millions of dollars, all the things being dumped into AI, technology advancement, because they believe that they're creating a god. So if you merge with AI, right? If a human merges themselves with AI, they will be able to achieve god-like abilities, essentially. One example, immortality. We just read transhumanism is what? The effect of superseding the natural abilities of the human body. Ways to do it is by genetic editing. You know, you got the mRNA. You know, if you know about that, then you also have it said nanotechnology, and it said artificial intelligence. So through the acts of technology now, and then but just like it said in the chat, right? When you go into the chat, Nimrod, that was the purpose. They believed that through the access of their technology and their human, let's read it, right? Let's go back to it. Let's read it. It says, so if by outsmart the Most High, you mean using human intelligence, technology, and unity to bypass the Most High's authority. You see? And what's going to allow them to use the unity? Because another sense too, the main thing they were saying about the AI was the fact that he was mentioning, because the elder, I'm laying back and off the elder point. I definitely recommend you brothers go watch the video.
Okay.
Right? What is it? They're trying to essentially eliminate the language barrier. Like the video says, can AI circumvent the scattering, right? And the elder put in here, what is the word circumvent? He says to circumvent means to find a clever, sneaky, or legal way to get around a rule, problem, or physical barrier instead of dealing with it directly. Bypass the Lord. You see, they're trying to bypass the things that the Lord put on them. They're trying to bypass the Lord's will, because what are the things that the Lord has designated for Esau? That Esau will rule for a little season and he'll be taken out of rulership. You see, and through the actions of his AI, he's going to be able to go around that. He's going to bypass that. You see, he's going to be like the language barrier. They ain't going to have to deal with that no more. You see, it was confusion when it came to building. They ain't have to deal with that. Through AI, he's going to be able to access this. And this is essentially the MO of Esau. This is his push. This is what the B system, the New World O, is. Esau achieving his artificial version of the birthright on earth, which is him essentially thinking that he could circumvent, with AI, he could circumvent the Lord's will. He could bypass the Lord's authority by access through his technology. Because the Lord, he already declared it. It's like he already declared it from the beginning. He already got the script written. He already said that Esau this is what he would do. You see, this is what I have in store for you, Esau. Your birthright is going to be, you're going to give your birthright to Jacob, and you're going to serve rigorous, hardcore slavery under the Israelites, and eventually you'll be wiped out. But he's trying to offset that. As a matter of fact, that's what Psalms 2 talks about. This is part of that futile plan. You see that this nigga's imagining. Let's see where I'm at. This is Psalms 2, chapter 1. In the NLT, it says, why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans? And who's the head of the nations right now? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You see, Amalek. Says the kings of the earth prepare for battle, and rulers plot together against the Lord and against his anointed ones. Let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from the slavery to the Most High. You see, he's trying to go off script with his technology, with his AI, with his like we just read, those things, man. It said human intelligence, technology, unity. With those things, he's going to be able to not go into captivity to the sons of God. He's going to be able to rule forever. And in a nutshell, he's going to achieve Godhead on earth and get his artificial birthright. See, he says, but the one who rules in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. You see, so essentially, this is all the Lord's will at the end of the day. Even if Esau wants to believe it or not, or he's trying to offset it, at the end of the day, this is the Lord's will. This is the Lord has documented in the scriptures that this is what you're going to do. This is his will. You see, because now we're going to pull the 2 Thessalonians. We're going to end it off with this. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, right? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and I'll start at verse 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, which is Esau, the so-called white man, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in a temple of God, showing himself he is God. And that's what they try to do in the Tower of Babel. You see? When we read it in the chat, which we could go back to it. Let's go back to it. Let's get it in the chat. What did it say? It says right here. It says, if someone believes they can completely bypass the authority of the Most High, that they can determine good and evil, establish their own ultimate authority, or become accountable only to themselves. They are, in effect, placing themselves in a role that belongs to the Most High alone. You see, it says these themes. It says these themes appear throughout scriptures. And just 3, the serpent tempts Adam, even with the words, "You will be like God," encouraging independence from God's command. Tower of Babel, right? Says humanity seeks to make a name for ourselves, acting in a collective pride rather than submission to the Most High. Throughout the prophets, rulers who exalt themselves above the Most High, such as the kings of Babylon and Tyre, and commanded for their arrogance. Condemned, for their arrogance. You see, so that's what they did. Like the scriptures say in Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. The thing that has been, which will always be. And what was that? And you fast forward to things Ecclesiastes 6, that thing which is man. So the spirit of man, the spirit of Esau, this is coming back in earth and is doing exactly what he's always been trying to do. You see? Achieve Godhead, get the artificial virgin birth. Because you remember, we just read Genesis 27. What did he say? He said he hated Jacob. He said Jacob supplanted me for my birthright, and he supplanted me for my blessing. So I hate him, and the days will come where I'll be able to kill him. So Esau's trying to get his birthright back, and that's what he's trying to. He's gonna get his birthright back, and he's gonna kill Jacob. That's what he's trying to do, and he thinks he's gonna be able to achieve that by way of his AI. That's why you have hella talks of transhumanism. What is transhumanism? Superseding the abilities that the Lord placed upon humans, essentially. What you can't do. But the only one who has been given the ability to do that were the sons of God. Jacob. If your lineage go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you gonna have the ability to do supernatural things by way of Yahweh Bashma Shai. But Esau thinks he's gonna be able to offset that. You see? So we're gonna keep reading it. It says, let me jump down. It says, right here, this is verse 8. It says, then the man, this is in the NLT, it says, then the man of lawlessness will be revealed. Wait a minute. Well, you can read this. It says, for the mystery, we're going to read it in the KJV. 2 Thessalonians 2:7. See where I'm at. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he. So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to use the brother's charger. So, let me put this charger on right quick. So, you bear with me. Make sure my microphone's on. I think I turned it on. All right, so, you bear with me. All right, it says, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 7 says, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Who was at in rule of time? Who was the mystery of iniquity? Who was already at work? That was Esau Edom, the so-called white man. You see? The Edomites says, only he who letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So we looking at Esau do the things to do. Do the things that he's doing to be taken out of the way. Because he's not going to be able to achieve that. But he's going to we're looking at him take a real push to do it. You see? It says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him, right, whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and with all power and signs and lying wonders. And you can read in the NLT, it says, this man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power and signs and miracles. You see? So this man, who was this man? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He will come and he'll do the work of Satan. What is the Hebrew word for the word Satan? Shaitan, which means adverse. So this man, he will be rebellious against the Lord to do his own will. Just like during the time of the Tower of Babel, which Esau, he's essentially a copycat of the Hamites. He copies them. The Babylonians, he copies a lot of the things, man. He copies a lot of them. And what was they trying to do? On the Nimrod, they was trying to do what? They were showing for counterfeit power, essentially. Fake. Like they was going to be able to outdo the Lord. They was going to be able to supersede and bypass the Lord's authority. But that's not possible. That's not going to happen. But that's what we see, you know. And I just wanted to add on to the elder, you know, through spirit, through the power spirit of Yahweh Shai. I just thought it was, I was like, because I thought I was tripping. I'm listening to the video. I'm like, this nigga just say God? Yeah. Esau believes that with his AI, he is creating a God. And therefore, if he believes that with AI, he's creating a God, that also lets you know that his push for transhumanism is letting you know that me merging myself with this God, this AI that I've created, I will be indeed a God myself. And I will achieve immortality, and I will achieve my artificial birthright, and I will be able to do Psalms 2. Free myself from slavery, from the sons of God, and from the Lord, and I will imprison the Israelites, and I'll eventually wipe them out. But that's why the Lord laughs, because at the end of the day, the Lord is on his script. Like she'll say, he who have resisted the will of Yahweh Bashma Rashah. So Esau's doing everything according to as the Lord has planned it, the perfect devil. So Lord, this is edifying through the power spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. And Lord's will I wasn't all over the place, man. Lord's will is edifying and feeding them the sheep of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. We're going to end up with saying, call Allah Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Rachakwadash. I'm going to give honor to the apostles, the elders of the great millstone, and to y'all, I'm going to say shalom.